Welcome back to the Great Stories YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about how lightsabers kill people, and I really hope YouTube doesn't demonetize me. Except I'm not monetized, so I don't have to worry about that. Lightsabers can cut through just about anything, and they don't really cut exactly. They more delete, vaporize, melt, or burn whatever they come in contact with. And when they cut, they go straight through. There's basically no resistance. And I say basically because there's still some resistance, especially when cutting thicker objects or harder materials. But a person? No worries. Now here's the part where we forget Earth physics and embrace Star Wars physics. Because even though there's basically no resistance, whenever something gets cut by a lightsaber, the pieces go flying. At least 90% of the time. Chop a droid, parts go flying. Chop a alien, arm goes flying. Chop a bounty hunter, head goes flying. Chop a best friend, limbs go flying. Chop a son, arm goes floop.
Floop is a madman, help us, save us!
And that's the part that's the other 10%. The part that goes floop. Because most of the time when limbs, heads, parts, and pieces are separated, they go flying like you hit that home run you dreamed about in T-ball. But sometimes they just floop. Episode 1, some droids just floop. Episode 2, some droids floop. Episode 3, Dooku's head floops. Episode 4, Obi-Wan poofs. Episode 5, some parts floop. Episode 6, some parts floop, and Vader's hand floops. It also kind of flies. So it floop flies. But most of the time, things just fly apart, even though the blade just goes right through. For a better example about resistance with a lightsaber, you can't do this with a lightsaber, but you could do that with a mouse saber. Best example, beginning of episode 9. Kylo basically drags his saber through this guy, like if he was using a sword or a saw or something. Don't need to do that with a lightsaber, kid. Now, one of the big things, actually the big thing for this video, lightsabers kill. Mouse sabers don't. Why do lightsabers kill? Well, I discovered an answer, and it might shock you. Because they do. Mouse sabers don't, because they don't. I do find it very interesting, though, that they chose stabbing to be the way to incapacitate characters for a little bit, instead of just chopping a limb off. Because stabbing someone with a lightsaber is a little more messy than just chopping part of them off. In episode 1, when Qui-Gon gets stabbed, you can see the wound gets bigger because Maul moved the lightsaber. Maul stabs in up at an angle, and then he lowers the blade and pulls it out straight, and you can see the wound on Qui-Gon's back gets bigger because of that. Also, he could have just ripped it out of his body, kind of like Palpatine does in episode 3 to poor Agent Kalar, who gets stabbed by Palpatine, and then Palps rips the lightsaber out of his body and swings it straight into Saesee. Also, if people die from getting slashed across the chest with a lightsaber, you think you'll survive a hole through your entire body. Here in the Ahsoka show, when Sabine gets stabbed, You can clearly see that the blade moves around, but the wound doesn't get any bigger. Also, from what we've seen of lightsabers, people die from a lethal lightsaber wound pretty quickly. Qui-Gon holding on that long after getting stabbed is not the norm. That's not a normal thing for a person to hold on that long after getting stabbed or slashed by a lightsaber. Jumping back to lightsabers having resistance. When you're stabbed with a lightsaber, there doesn't seem to be a transfer of force like when you cut something with a lightsaber. When you stab somebody with a lightsaber, it's just in, out. There's no getting shoved back when they're hit by it. Their body doesn't go flying across the room like it would have if they got chopped in half or something. Unlike in Episode 7, where Kylo somehow pushes Han Solo back a step by pushing the mouse saber deeper into his body. I'm not sure how to end this episode off, so we're going to end it like this. Floop.